Hello, my name is Dr. Kevin Smith. I'm an ear, nose, and throat doctor. I take care of sinus problems, nasal issues, things like that. And I'm also the author of a book called The Migraine Imposter. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what that's about. But the thing that I want to tell you out there is that headaches and severe headaches and migraine-like headache can be caused by a problem in your nose. It's just that simple. Sinus problems can cause it. Nasal septal problems, meaning a deviated septum. You may have heard about a deviated septum. It's when the septum is bent inside the nose. And bone spurs, just like you can have a bone spur of your neck or bone spurs in your feet that cause pain, you can have the same thing in your nose that can cause severe pain. And a lot of times I found these things are being misdiagnosed, meaning you're getting the wrong diagnosis of migraine when it's actually a problem in the nose. That's what this whole tape is all about. The point that I want to hit home is you should not accept a diagnosis of migraine from any doctor until you have been completely evaluated. And by that I mean you need to have had not only a CAT scan or an MRI of the brain, which takes care of this part, but you need to have a CAT scan of the sinus part that looks at the sinuses, looks at the nose, looks at the septum. Because those things can give you problems that are commonly mistaken as migraine headache. So, how did I come about this? Well, it all happened when I was in my fellowship. My preceptor told me, hey, Kevin, I do these rhinoplasties and septoplasties on patients. They come back to my office and say, doc, I don't know what you did inside my nose, but I don't get bad headaches anymore. So I kind of took that little bit of information and kind of built on it. I've been in practice now for some 19 years. And when I first started off, I would look in people's noses and see if they had a deviated septum. And if they did, I would ask them, do you have headaches? And they would go, oh my goodness, yes, doctor, why do you ask? And I'd tell them, well, you have a little problem in your nose, your septum's bent, it's touching some sensitive tissues, it may be causing the headaches. We're going to fix the septum anyway, and we'll just see what happens. Well, 19 years later, and some 1,500 patients later, I'm convinced that there are people walking around who have just succumbed to the diagnosis of migraine, who are taking multiple medications, who are going to multiple doctors, who have side effects from all the medications they're taking, and who are frustrated, depressed, and even have, sadly to say, thoughts of suicide because they cannot find relief. And this is the reason I've decided to do this videotape. And also I'm doing other videotapes as well. If you go to YouTube and just type in the Migraine Imposter or Migraine Imposter, you'll see several of our patients we're starting to post online who can speak to you and tell you about how they've gone for years and years, some of them up to 40 years, with a misdiagnosis of migraine, who came to see me, were found to have a deviated septum or a bone spur or sinus problems that I fixed, and then the headaches went away. I did a little study in my office, and the study found that 93% of the patients who come to me with a diagnosis of migraine from either a neurologist or their family practice doctor or their internal medicine doctor. Of those 93% of the patients, I was able to significantly cure or significantly improve almost 30% of those folks. So let's take that number and look at the number of people with migraines in the United States. There are 40 million people in the United States who have a diagnosis of migraine. If you apply that same 30% that I helped in my office to the 40 million, you're talking about 11.2 million people that I could potentially help. I actually feel it's probably more than that. But let's just go with 11 million. That's a significant amount of people who are not only not living their best life, but they're also draining the healthcare system because they go to doctors 70% more than the average person. Their families spend up to about $5,000 more per year in medical costs because of them having migraines. They go to the emergency room more. They're missing work. When they are at work, they're not functioning well. So it affects big business as well. And they just aren't living their best life. So, with that said, here's what I want the take-home message to be. One, if you have severe headaches or if you've been told you have migraines, first make sure you have gotten a CAT scan of your sinuses. When you get the CAT scan of the sinuses, I would encourage you to send it to me, Dr. Kevin Smith. I'm in Houston, Texas. You can look me up on my website at kevinsmithmd.com. I will look at the CAT scan. I will then provide you with a report that will tell you what the findings are and what my recommendations would be based on my experience. Now, you then have the option to take it to an ENT doctor that might, and I stress might, take that plan and put it into action. But there's a possibility that you might have an ear, nose, and throat doctor who doesn't believe in this. Unfortunately, not all ENTs believe in this. I'm one that has committed my career to discovering it, to working on it, to practicing the art of medicine, where I observe the results of a treatment and I'm convinced that it works. Other doctors may not be. We have had patients who have sent their scans to me, they've gotten their reports back, and who have come to me from out of town. And we can easily set that up. But the first thing I want you to do is, if you have headaches, or if you know somebody with migraine headaches who are just not getting any better, and I don't care how long they've suffered, the first thing to do would be to get a CAT scan of the sinuses, or you can come to me. I'll order the CAT scan of the sinuses. We'll review that together, or I'll review it and send you a report, and then we make a plan. I think it's unfortunate that a lot of people out here are suffering needlessly because they just don't have all the information. There are a lot of doctors out here, neurologists, family practice doctors, and the like, who simply don't know about this. And I'm trying to educate the people. I'm trying to educate the doctors so that we can all get better. So, with that said, please visit my website again. That's Kevin Smith, kevinsmithmd.com, or you can go to my book's website at themigraineimposter.com. We'll be talking to you later. I'll be making more of these films, so we'll see you later. Thank you very much.